Hello folks, it's Andy Authling here again, and I'm excited to show you a new plugin that I've developed for the Chase Bliss Audio Thermae analog delay pitch shifter pedal. Come check it out. So here's what it looks like. And again, much like, or exactly like the Gen Loss pedal, this plugin only works in Ableton Live, and it only works in Ableton Live if you also have a Max for Live license. So you need Ableton Suite, which includes Max for Live, or you need a full Ableton license plus a Max for Live license separately, which you can do. Or you can get a 90-day trial of Ableton Suite. It's pretty great. Hey, it's sweet. You might say that. But yeah, this is the plugin. So it's as full featured as the MIDI spec allows. Let me turn it on here. So you can see we've got all the controls that are on the face of the pedal. One thing I really like is that the intervals are stepped, so you snap directly to the intervals you want. Like that. Very, very nice. No more searching around the knob trying to find the exact interval you want, you know? You got tap right here. So that's fun. You've also got some of the auxiliary functions, which are like the hold. So if I press this, it'll the delay will start running away. Man, that sounds good. Turn that off. We've also got the slow mode, or the green mode. Normally, by default, it's in this red mode, right? So if you press this red button, it turns to green, and now you're in slow mode. So the delay time is now cut in half, you know, as you'd expect. Get a lot of that noisy goodness from the chips. Get some glide in there. You also have control over the ramp time if you're doing any ramping with the dip switches. One thing to note is that because this is an older Chase Bliss pedal, we do not have MIDI control over the dip switches. So it's a little less complicated than the Gen Loss plugin, but can still do a lot. You can turn the clock ignore on and off. If you're sending it a clock signal and you don't want it to listen to that, you can turn that on. You can also do expression via MIDI with that, and presets. I'm gonna go back to red mode here. And regarding the dip switch thing, we do have access to the mod controls, but you'll see if you click that, you get a message saying this mode will only work correctly if the mod dip switch is set to on. So we can't control the speed and depth of the modulation directly without a little bit of human interaction, sorry. Yeah, you gotta flip that mod switch up, and then you can mess with the speed and depth of the modulation. Yeah, so that's the plugin on its face. Pretty simple, very similar to the pedal itself. But as always, the coolest stuff for me is how it works within Ableton here. So what I've got is I've got a handful of clips here that only interact with the interval 1. Interval 1 knob. And what's really nice is that you'll see that the values are there. So you can go off, 4th, 5th, you know, octave. You're not dealing with 0 to 127 numbers anymore, which is really great. So this clip happens to be setting the interval 1 to off. If I go back to the other clips, you'll see I have them also for interval 1, an octave up, 2 octaves up, an octave down, and 2 octaves down. Now what's cool about this is, I do like the 4ths and 5ths intervals on Thermae, but sometimes you don't want those. Sometimes they can get a little weird. And so what this is 5 clips that only put interval 1 in the octave settings or off. And I'm using the Ableton follow actions in these clips right here. So I'm saying, once you're done with this clip, go ahead and choose any other clip to play randomly. So if I hit go here, we're gonna watch the interval 1 knob. I'm gonna turn interval 2 off. So let's start here. So we're off. Then we're -1. Let's slow it down a bit. Full mix. So you can just see interval 1 moving, and it'll never hit a 5th or 4th. So that's some of the cool stuff you can do with this. You can hear it jumping around. Here, go slow mode. Very cool. So that's using the clips, and you have a ton of parameters available in the clips. Let me stop this now. That's a cool sound, actually. I'm gonna bring up a new clip and just show you, if you go to the Thermae plugin, you've got all these things. You can automate, you can sequence, you can do whatever, make clips of it, LPF, mix, regen, you got the slow button. But the other thing that you can automate, you can use automation for this. Where is it? You got init and sync, which those are helpful buttons. But you've also got the random stuff. Which, hold on. So they're here. So if you're using Thermae and you're like, man, I'm just looking for some inspiration, there is this handy randomize section here. So you can randomize the intervals the way you want. Oops, I'm pressing the wrong place. Intervals. So it'll randomize both intervals and their tap division. So these two knobs plus these two switches will change every time you hit randomize interval. So very cool stuff. And then with this one, you can randomize the other knobs that aren't the intervals. So that's low pass, regen, glide, and the tap div. And the ramp too, in case you're doing anything ramping wise. The mix always stays where you leave it in this scenario. Then obviously the all button randomizes everything. Cool. And then as with the Gen Loss 2, these buttons here, init will bring the pedal back to its default state, and then sync will send the current state of the pedal out in case things get messed up. If you turn some hardware knobs and now the plugin is out of sync with the pedal, you just press the sync button and all the MIDI messages get sent out to return the pedal to whatever state is on the plugin. Alright, so the last thing I want to show, or one of the last things, this is another clip I have here where all it is automating the hold button. So it's 2 bars of hold being off and then 2 bars of hold being on. So let's go back. I'm gonna turn the regen, oops. Turn the regen down a bit so you'll notice it more when it gets turned on. Alright, I'm gonna play this clip now. So we see hold is being automated now. Now it's on. Now it's off. So you can sequence that kind of stuff too. And then obviously, I mean, this is just an Ableton thing. You know, you press MIDI and you can MIDI map any of this stuff that comes up. Any of these controls in the plugin. You can map it to hardware, you can map it to software plugins, LFOs, whatever you want. It's pretty sick. Basically, this plugin allows any Ableton functionality to be performed on the pedal, on the hardware, which is really cool. I'll do one last thing here and just show throwing an LFO on here. So I'm gonna pull the default max LFO. I'm gonna turn that clip off. Let's just do a normal LPF sweep, low pass filter sweep. make it a little slower, and then I'm just going to click map, and then I'm going to click on the filter. That's rad. I love this. Change the offset so it doesn't go all the way down on the LFO. Alright, I'm going to delete this now. Alright, so that's the plugin, folks. You can get it for free now at chaseblissaudio.com. Chasebliss.com, I think. Like I said, if you'd like to try it out with your pedal for free, you've got you can use a 90-day Ableton Suite trial. You'll be able to do all this stuff. So yeah, have a great time and freaking go at it. Go nuts. Have fun.